What's that?
Lyrics and Idyls by Gawain.
Well, that sounds intriguing.
I've read a few things by Gawain, and I quite like him.
I don't know that I've ever read anything by them. Though I don't know if I know any of the authors that I've read the books of.
It will be the same as the usual. Thank you once again for your accommodations.
Where are you going? Do you normally like to read down here?
One of my places.
It's a bit hard to see the pages, isn't it?
Hence the lantern. How I have thought of her, her I have never seen. Now from arraying air, she like a romance queen. Flowers of face serene, radiant in raven hair, now in bosom scent, last from the stars that gleam. I long, oh long to lie, neath beechen branches twisted, green twixt the summer sky. The woodland shadows nigh, brown, dry, and sunbeam misted. The livelong day to dream beside a wildwood stream. I long, oh long to hear the claustral forest breathings, sound soothing to the ear, the yellow hammer near, beam bright through it wild fine wreathings. The livelong day to cross, slow o'er the nut-strewn moss. I long, oh long to see the nesting redbird singing, glad on the wood rose tree. To watch the breezy bee, half in the wild flowers swinging, God's livelong day to pass deep in cool forest grass. O you so belted in, with mart and booth and steeple, brick alleyways of sin, what hope for you to win ways free of pelf and people, ways of the leaf and root, and soft Midgonian flute. He writes gently.
It's beautiful. It's you can feel the feelings he was experiencing while writing it.
Song that did waken you, song that had taken you, has not forsaken you. Still with the spring, my mad and merriest part of the veriest season and cherished. You who can bring airs to the birds that have taught you, grace that the winds have brought you, mean that the lilies laughed you, thoughts that the high stars waft you. Are you a human thing? Dreams, are you odd with them? You who are fraught with them, you like the thoughts with them, beautiful too. Life, you're a gleam of it. Love, you are a dream of it. Hope, you are a beam of it, bound in the blue. Grey of big eyes that are often laughter and languor that soften onto me sweetly and slowly. Out with your soul that is wholly so purer than dew. Face like the sweetest of perfumes, completest of flowers, God's fleetest of months ever bear. Sleep who walk crisper, sleep than the frost, lisper sleep. Have you a whisper sleep, soft as her hair? Night and the stars did spin it, stars and the night are in it. Let but one ray of it bind me, and did the blind fates blind me? Fair, I should know her, fair. Here for a while, song can you sing in me, fuller or bring in me? Peace that will cling in me, so through all trial, such as her smile, like the morning's fashioning luminous warnings, rose of a passion unspoken, love, 'tis your seal and its token, the light of her smile. He's got a number of poems that are named after loves. And Dahlia, Noera, Julia, Laura.
I'm envious of the people who can be so good with their words, you know, and to capture exactly what's going on right there in that moment.
I do not know if it is just in that moment. I believe it is something that clings, and perhaps it changes as time goes on and memories shift.
Oh, they're beautiful. Would you read me another one?
Yes. How the Mayapple or solitude cyclamen, star perfect as a star in woodland glade and glen, blossoms when breezes woo, with language of the dew up to the broken blue of lonesome skies. Do you know, or do I, love? Can wild anemones think, for they tremble so, as if two cousin bees this side than that bent low, when the soft sunlight links braid of dewdrop wings, crowns round each head that shrinks what its heart's aura thinks. Know you or I, love? No, when the springtide trod by in a blowing blush, wise as a gaze of God, holding all heaven a hush. Love was her thought, and love through that vast soul above wrought so they sprang thereof. Thought into thoughts were wove, symbols of living love. I do not often read poetry akin to this. I am fond of gnarled words, but occasionally these are beautiful. Through meadows of the iron weeds whose purple blooms flash, slipping twice twinkling drops of dewy beads, the thin path twists and winding leads through woodland hollows, dripping down to a creek with bedded reeds, on to the lily dam that feeds the mill, whose wheel through willow breads winks the white water whipping. It winds through meads of mint and brush, where silvery seeds sink drowsy, or sail along the heatful hush, past where a bob white in the bush has built a nest and fowsy hides in calling clear, as split through crush of crowded saplings low and lush, as seen by pools of flag and rush, where blows the briar rose blowsy. Across the ragweed fallow lot, whose low rail fins encumbers, the dense packed berries ripening hot, where on the summer one fast spot of grey the greyhawk slumbers. Then in the greenwood, where the rot of leaves and loam smells coal, and shot with darting dark that touched me not, swings curling horns and numbers. Around brown rocks that bulge and lie deep in damp ferns and mosses, like giants, each lounged on his thigh to watch some forest quarry die. The path toils steep, then crosses a bramble bridge upwhirring nigh, a wood dove startles twat the sky, a jarring light rock babbling by the brook its diamonds tosses. Oh, through the wildwood then we go, in pools of shade and singing, where pale pink sorrel grasses grow, the vari-coloured toadstools sow, and well dark soils bestringing through rough oak roots, where swinging low the green bur's limbs rub, when each slow faint forest wind sounds fresh the flow of hidden waters ringing, while far away among the cane or spice bush belts the tinkle of one stray bell drifts yet again, lost near some lone and leafy lane, where smooth the red ruts wrinkle, fills all the skies a greyish stain of smoky blue, a hint of rain. The sun is hid hard down the grain, a gust dents and a sprinkle. The dimpled dust has drilled hawk, one big mouthful of the thunder, gruff, scurrying with the dust we run into the whiff of hay and sun, of cribs and barns, and under the martin-builded eaves where done the sparrow's house with fussy fun. Will it be done soon as begun? We wonder and we wonder. A crashing wedge of stormy light, vibrating blinds and dashes a monster elm to splinters white. Hush! Then a fit of rain that bright, the tumbled straw sacks slashes. The rain is over left and right, foregathering gales of green delight, fresh raisins of each halt and height, where each blade drips and flashes. A ghostly gold grows slowly through the crumpled clouds, and woven from rainy rose to rainy blue, a strange, sweet dotting as of dew dies into trembling doven. I, buried in wrack, now one or two white stars shine slight, the pirate glue to night's retort, the west a hue of bruised pomegranate cloven.
Oh, he had such a way with words. It, is this old? Is he still alive? Are they still writing books?
I do not know. There's a chance that he is still alive. I do not know if he still writes. This is a new book, close to it, but a year old.
It's so beautiful. I don't even know what to say. I'm just trying to think it over in my head. And, sometimes when I'm hearing things like that, or writing things, I don't write a lot, but it's like I can, well, it's like it says, it's a lyric, right? You can, there's a rhythm to it, and you can feel this unconducted music, I guess, that
Hmm.
goes with it.
Why think about it at all?
Hmm.
Sometimes the words simply do not have meaning, and their meaning is to feel, and that is all. So why think?
Hmm. I guess it's just something I do.
Mm.
If something feels a certain way, I want to know why it feels that way, why it makes me feel that way, so that I can recreate it, I guess, and pinpoint it.
Mm. I enjoy the way that he writes about flowers. He keeps their meanings in mind. They are not just pretty things. There is a place embanked with brush, 3 wooded knobs beyond, lost in a valley where the lush wild eglantine blows blonde, where light the dogwoods early as the torches of white fires, and to be bewildered east and west, the red halls build their spires. The worn wild apples' flowery sprays blow through the misty gloom, a pensive pink, and by lone ways the close blackberries bloom. I love the spot a shallow brook slips from the forest near, bird haunted flags in many a nook in rustling depths so clear. The minnows glimmer where they glide above its rocky bed, a long dear boyhood's brook not wide, which has its sparkling head. Among the rainy hills and drops by four low waterfalls, wild music of 100 stops between the leafy walls. Against the water gate that hangs a rude portcullis dull of one washed wood whose clumsy fangs the crest makes beautiful. The bright green dragonflies about the seeding grasses swim, the streaked wasps whirring in and out dot fretfully and slim. Here in the moon gold moss that glows like jets of moonlight dies, the weak anemone and blows some flower less blue than skies. And where in April tenderly the dewy primrose made a thin peculiar fragrance, we in the pellucid shade found wild strawberries half a bud, and May long berries fresh hung pallid pink as woodbird's blood on many a trailing mesh. Once from that hill a farmhouse mid large orchards, gauzy brown, in lilacs and brave roses hid, with picket fences looked down. O'er ruins now the roses guard the plum and skull pear and apricot rot on the sward, the wasted ripeness there. But when low huckleberries blow, the waxen bells all tread, those dear accustomed ways all go, dimmed out that orchard I led to that avoided spot which seems the haunt of vanished springs, lost as the hills in drowsy dreams of visionary things.
What was that one called?
Among the knobs, I wound to heal and durability, temptation, utility, motherly care, expectation, youth, and comfort. I adore when the flowers speak. The ones you give mean distinction. It is a beautiful meaning. There the ragged sunlight lay, tawny on thick ferns and grey, on dark waters dimmer. Lone and deep the cypress grove shadowed whisperings and wove braided lights like those that love on the bow plumes of a dove, pale to gleam and glimmer. There centennial pine and oak into stormy bases broke, hollow rocks, gloom slanting, echoey in dim arcade, looming with loose moss that made sunshine streaks and tatters laid. Oft a wild heart, hunt afraid, plunged the water panting. Poppies of a sleepy gold mooned the gold-green twilight old of its vistas making fuzzy puffs of flame, and pale stole some slim deer down a dale haunting, and the nightingale throbbed not near the olden tale, all its hurt heart breaking. There the hazy serpelet, glinting cistus blooming wet, blushed on bank and boulder, there the cyclamen as wan as weak foot sprints of the dawn, carpeted the spotted lawn. There the nymph dripping drawn past a beachy shoulder. In the citrine shadows there, what tall presences and fair, white and goodly gracious, hidden where the rock roos grow. Watch through eyeballs of the dew, or from sounding oaks, and knew all the mystery of blue, heaven vaulted spacious. Guarded that Boeotian valley, so no foot of man soiled its silence wholly with profaning tread, save one, the Hiantian Acheon. He beheld what God might shun, fate, Diana's wrath called on, with what magic holy. Lost its lies like one who sleeps, and serene enchantment keeps beautiful in beamy beauty of its blooms that be wisdom's hope, its high stars see near in fountains deity, in wise windwards of each tree.
What was that one about?
What do you believe it is about?
I don't know.
It is about Gargavy. That was a sacred glade, sacred to the goddess Diana. Ovid wrote about it. After her hunts, she would return to the glade, and she would rest in peace and in search of respite. And one day, Actaeon came through, and he saw her. He was not meant to see her, and was turned into a stag.
What was he hunted after?
By his own hounds. He was a hunter, you see. And once he was turned into that stag, the hounds caught his scent. There were quite a lot of them, and most of them died during the chase.
The poor things.
Hmm. There were three that made it. Black Hair, Killer, and Climber. They were the first three to bring him down. Diana could have loosed an arrow from her bow, but she did not, despite it needing only one shot, and she was the best hunter of all.
Was it because she was resting?
It was because he overstepped. The gods were fickle in Greece. They had the sense of man, and occasionally anger is overwhelming. And an arrow will not do.
I think that's why I liked learning about them. Well, I didn't learn a lot about them, but the little bit that I did read, I felt more closer with than anything that my auntie's priest friend gave me. They felt like gods that we could actually connect with. They would actually understand us.
Their gods had human heirs, I suppose, as does the Christian God, but not to many.
A great deal of them have anger issues, don't they?
Yes. Men have anger issues, and so why should that not be present in their gods that they worship? They are symbols of them at the end.
I never thought about it that way.
I have often seen that we as humans search for something that we know. We cling to them, whether it be anger or charred wood. We cling to things that are like, and when we yearn for something larger to believe in, we shift and we change what may or may not be to suit that need. They are simply stories with belief, in my opinion.
I feel like there's. I feel like there's gotta be something, though I don't know what. You know, like my brother, for
Mm.
example, how he is ruled by something that we could divvy up to being just his own pride or his own delusions, but something gave those delusions to my grandpappy and then the one before him, all that.
Is life not a great enough higher power?
Isn't it the most fickle thing of all?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think higher powers can be so fickle.
You do not believe.
I.
Life is fickle when it comes to the one, but life does not see the one. There are far too many eyes and far too many mouths to feed to focus on the one. Life looks at the all. It is not a fickle thing when the scales are balanced. When the deer are gone and the people starve, they die, and the deer return until they learn not to take too much.
And they'd praise God for the deer's return.
Yes, they praise a god, they praise the deer, Perhaps they praise the mountains or the valleys they live in. But it is simply life.
It's maybe that's what scares me. Is that there is no real control to it. You know, there's no real. mm,
There is.
I
There
mean,
is control in the individual sense, yes. And there is some, but control over all that is impossible.
yeah,
And in truth, in my personal opinion, that is demeaning the purpose of life itself. As the individual, I believe that there are some precautions that need to be taken for safety and for health and for care. But if I were to be in life's shoes, the grace of choice, that is a beautiful gift.
do you believe in well, you believe in spirits and the like, right?
No,
No. Why is that?
I simply do not. Perhaps my mind will be changed one day, but as it stands, no. I believe in what I can see and feel and hear, and the minds of men. And maybe one day that will change. And perhaps I am wrong, and that is all right.
I think there is something anyway. I mean, there has to be. Once there's nothing left of your body, then what?
You are simply nothing. You are memories. You are. What do you have left? You are the words. You are the remembrances.
But all that fades out eventually. All gods die, and, the people that followed them too.
One day, Saint Denis will sink into the mud. Or perhaps the mud will be pushed back and the city will grow. But something will be forgotten. That is how the world changes. That is a burden to be remembered for so long. There is a comfort in being lost to time. In my mind,
I almost feel the opposite, to tell you the truth. Mm. The thought of just fade into it all, to be nothing, to be nothing in this life and then nothing in the next, even if there is no next life.
and perhaps there is nothing, and perhaps there is more. I do not know.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it, that there's so many people on this earth who are so certain that they know exactly what is going to happen. So you have all these religions and deities dreamt up things to follow, things to do. But in the end, nobody knows it all until you get to the end.
Hmm. An entirely personable experience.
Hmm. I'd wager none of us are right.
Perhaps we are not. And perhaps God is a lizard. And perhaps God is the sun. Maybe God is nothing at all, and simply a word.
wonderful would it be if you could just look at the dirt and make grass grow or flowers bloom from it? And to be a god, to create life, take it.
I would hate it.
Too much responsibility.
Not responsibility, burden.
Mm.
I have had enough of the pedestal that I am sat on. I would not want more. My days are filled with destruction and creation enough already. I fear that there is not time enough in the day. If there is grass, and you would want it someplace else, sow seeds and be patient.
That's fair enough.